guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Beauty and Brains podcast with Bright Sunmark and
Luna Blue. What's up?
Today we're going to talk about astral projection or out-of-body experiences, whatever you want to call it.
They're basically the same thing, except astral projection. Sometimes you go further than expected.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I think we should explain what that is, how you would define it.
So I'm sure like a lot of people have heard of near-death experiences. And a lot of the time during a near-death experience, people experience an out-of-body experience. And that's where they can see themselves on the operation table or like sleeping outside their body. Like they're on top of themselves looking down at their body. So that would be an out-of-body experience, obviously, because you're out of the body. But yes, the most common times you hear about that is usually when people have a near-death experience, they experience an out-of-body experience. And also some people talk about DMT, being able to make it so that you can astral project. But you can actually do it without any of those things. You can train yourself to have an out-of-body experience. Astral projection is basically the same thing. The only difference is that people believe and say that you can, which I believe it's real, that you can project into almost like space or far, far away into the conscious realm of like the galaxy. So,
which I've done.
Yes, exactly, which we're going to talk about soon. So you don't need, I think it's a common misconception when people think about astral projection, out-of-body experiences, they do think about using DMT or a hallucinogenic, but you really, yes, that's one way, but you 100% can achieve it naturally by just practicing certain things to get you in that state.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use things like certain types of meditation. There's a bunch of different ways that you can practice, exercises that you can do. I'm going to talk about a specific book in a bit as well. So do you want to talk about your experience first?
Yeah, so as you guys probably saw in the other episodes or heard about us talking about the alien experiences and everything, how I ended up stumbling upon out-of-body experiences was when I was getting into aliens. I was like, damn, I wish there was like a Ouija board to contact aliens, but there isn't. And I was like, how would I contact them then? And then I thought about lucid dreaming. And then I looked up if you could contact them through lucid dreaming, and there was tons and tons and tons and tons of people saying, yes, you can. And in lucid dreaming, you can actually end up turning it into an out-of-body experience if you're consciously aware enough. So my goal was to have a lucid dream and almost cheat the way in, like have a lucid dream and then turn the lucid dream into an out-of-body experience. Like be like, wait a second, I'm dreaming, now I can leave my body. And there is a lot of ways you can lucid dream too. We're mostly going to be talking about out-of-body experiences, but I would practice every day. I would pinch myself on my leg. And when my mom was driving me to school, I was in high school. And or when I was on the bus. Anytime I was in a vehicle going somewhere, I'd pinch myself on my leg. And if it hurt, I'd be like, okay, well, this is reality. That's fine. If it didn't hurt, I would know that I'm dreaming. And since your dreams are a lot of recycled thoughts most of the time, if you are doing something you do every day, like going to the bathroom, like, going to work, driving, you're going to dream about it. So after a month of me pinching myself, one day I pinched myself and it didn't hurt. And I was like, oh my God, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. And I freaked out and realized I was lucid dreaming. And that kind of went into some other weird, I actually never talked about that. Oh, I wonder if I should mention it today. That one that I had when my body like seizured or whatever. Should I say that?
Definitely.
Okay, so this isn't an out-of-body experience, but it was me trying to get contact with aliens. And the lucid dreams led into that. But yeah, and that dream in the car, I was in the car and it didn't hurt. So I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I'm dreaming. I'm finally consciously aware I'm dreaming. Yeah. And then I was in the front seat and my mom was sitting beside me and I looked at her like this and it like wasn't her. Like it looked like my mom, but like it wasn't her. It was kind of creepy. So then the car stopped and I got out of the car because I felt uncomfortable. And I was in this beautiful place I've never been with all this snow, and there's like a river, and the sun was setting, and it was all these orange and pinks. It was so realistic and beautiful, and like I touched the water, and I could like feel the water, and I almost got distracted, and suddenly I was in the mall with my friend Katie, and I was trying to convince her that we were lucid dreaming, and then I realized I was getting distracted, and I was like, no, don't get distracted, because obviously she's not real, it's just part of the dream. And I said, you want to contact aliens? And then I focused on it. Suddenly I was in my bedroom, and I was like, perfect. So I like looked at the wall, and I was like, I don't know what you look like, so you have to manifest for me, but I want to contact like a benevolent being. And then all of a sudden the wall starts shaking, and everything starts shaking, almost like an earthquake. And then I like felt a jolt through my spine of electricity and started having like a seizure on my bed. And it was like super uncomfortable, and I was like going like this, and I could feel the electricity up my spine. And then I like started praying, and eventually after praying a whole bunch, I got out of it.
Yeah.
And I looked that up later, and it basically said that experience basically meant I wasn't ready for contact yet. And it was too powerful for my body to understand or comprehend.
Right.
And then down the road, I think it was you told me about this book, and it's called How to Have an Out-of-Body Experience by Robert Patterson, whatever. And I did some of his exercises in the book. He's actually like, it's written from a skeptic's point of view. So this guy like didn't believe in anything, and he started having these weird experiences, and he actually tried to prove it all wrong. But in the end, he realized like this is actually something real that's happening. But yeah, my first experience, I was at my ex's house, sleeping in his bed, and I had this, not imagined, but I like rolled out of my body, like somersaulted, which is one of the ones they talk about in the book. And I walked over, like flew over to the kitchen, and I could see his roommate making breakfast. And then suddenly I woke up, and she was making breakfast just like I dreamt. So that was really bizarre. But I didn't actually continue to try to have out-of-body experiences for a long time because of the scary ghost things I had happen in my house. Because I have this like internal fear that when I get out of my body, I will see that figure. But I know that I'm more powerful than it, and I shouldn't be feeling that way, because they talk about that in the books, crossing other entities. But I think like deep down there's like something blocking me, or I'm not ready yet. Yeah, I've had a few other lucid dreams though, but I think like out-of-body experience is the number one way to be able to contact benevolent beings. I just think it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, for sure.
And dedication.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll talk about my first experience now. My very first one.
Yes.
I've been trying for a really long time to have one, and I was doing all the exercises, and I was like, fuck, like why isn't this working? Why isn't it working? And then it was one day, like I took a fucking like a B complex vitamin, and then
I need to buy those again.
Yeah, you do. I went to have a nap after letting my at the time boyfriend go to work or whatever, and I went and I laid down on my side, and my laptop was like on the bed, like facing me, and I fell asleep, but it felt like I had closed my eyes and then opened them, and I was still laying the same way. So I got up, and I was like, whoa, my head feels really, really weird right now. And then I like sit up, and I was like, oh, something just doesn't feel right. So I put my hand to my head, and I was like, oh, it's so cold. What's going on? And then I had like a huge sliding mirror closet, and like I could see myself on the bed. And I got up, and I was like wearing the same thing that I wore to sleep and everything. I got up, and I was like looking at myself in the mirror, and I looked exactly like me. I was looking in the mirror.
But you saw yourself behind you too.
I didn't look. I didn't look. So I was looking at myself, and I'm like, oh my god! But things were like starting to feel like my brain was like distorted, and I was thinking, I was like, did he fucking drug me? What is happening right now? I was like kind of freaking out. I was like, holy shit, I need to go like to the hospital. I need to go get my parents. I'm like, and I go and I try to go to grab my door, and I can't grab my door, and I'm like, oh my god, and I just end up going right through it, and I'm in this like dark like cement long tunnel, and I'm walking down, and I'm still holding my head, and I'm like screaming, trying to scream for my parents. I'm like, I need some help, and then suddenly like I see like literally like a light at the end of the tunnel, and I just go to it. I'm like, okay, like am I dying? What the fuck? I was like, I'm never gonna see my family again. This is it. And so I go into the light, and suddenly I'm in this like big bright home office, and there's a desk over here, and like another desk over here with a computer, and like a little girl that's like facing the computer that can't see shit. Purple pajamas on and like long dark hair. And
I remember this one.
Then she like turns around and gets off the chair, and she goes, "Oh, Mommy!" And I was like, "Mommy, what's happening here?" Like, and I was looking at her, and she was like looking at me like so excited to see me and everything. And I realized, I was like, oh shit, like I'm totally somewhere else. I was like,
didn't she say you look different?
No.
I remember you said.
No, it was.
You told me she said you look different.
No. I asked. I was like, oh, like who, what do Mommy and Daddy do for their jobs? And she goes, your doctor, Mommy. And she said, Daddy fixes planes. So I mean, we both.
One of those dimensions. You slipped into a future dimension.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the other thing that I tried to do was I realized by that point that I was in an OBE, and I tried to get you there.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
Luna's probably passed out from smoking too much weed.
Yeah, probably. But I really tried to get you there, and that's when I was kind of like, okay, I can't change anything about this. So this must be like what's happening, you know, to me right now. And it was just like this weird thing, but it was such a bright, like colorful, really positive experience. So when I like came out of it, I was in the exact same position that I had gone to sleep in, that I had woken up in the OBE in. So it was quite the strange experience. But I was like so into it. Then I was like, fuck, that's the best feeling I've ever had. I have to have more of that. I have to, right? And of course, it's happened a bunch more times.
Yeah, you've had some pretty cool experiences.
Yeah.
Was your second one that you had?
Oh yeah, the second one that I had.
Before or after your sister?
No, that was before.
Okay. Yeah, I know the first one was before, but the second one.
The second one was before. Okay. Well, the second one was in this apartment, so it was after my niece was born. Like she was like 2 or 3 or something, and so I had woken up, and my niece was at the end of my bed, and she was like, "I want to play hide and seek." And I said, okay. So we played hide and seek all in here, and it felt like we were actually playing hide and seek for like hours and hours. So I thought it was just a normal experience. And then all of a sudden, you know, my sister Paige was there, and she goes, "I'm gonna take care of Bella now, and she's like, you have to go out." And I'm like, "I have to go out?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll take care of Bella." Okay. So I just go straight through the door, and then I'm completely somewhere else. I'm in this huge backyard, and it looks like it's set up for like either a wedding or like a funeral, right? And it's like really nice and sunny outside, and like beautiful green grass and everything. But I'm looking up at the sky because I know what's happening at this point because I've experienced it before. I'm like screaming at the sky, "Joel, wake me up!" Because I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to do this right now. So, and then I go inside the house. There's a ton of people in there, and nobody can see me. Nobody can hear me.
Of course.
So, and I'm walking around. I'm so angry in this thing. I'm so mad, and nobody can hear me at all. And I'm like, fucking somebody, you just fucking listen to me. And then I see my mom and Paige, like they're going up the stairs or whatever, and they're talking, but and I'm following them right behind them, and I can't hear them at all. It's like a fuzzy mumbling between them, and I'm like, fuck, like they can't see me either. And I start to get sad. I'm like, how long am I gonna be stuck in this for? This is fucking stupid. And then I go back down the stairs, and it was so weird because I go to like the front door where it's like the front entrance, and there's this guy that looks like, I don't know, he's dressing like sort of like weird kind of clothing, and then there's this old ass TV, and on the TV there's this old lady talking about how my husband died of a heart attack and stuff, And then I looked at the TV,
Weird.
and then I look at him, and he looks right at me, and then he shuts the TV off, and I'm like...
That's so weird. I don't remember this one.
No, you don't? Oh,
no.
Shit. Yeah, this is one of the most nuts ones.
Weird.
Yeah, so it was really strange. I'm, like, thinking to myself, I'm like, did I, like... You know, am I not supposed to, like...
Be there?
See this?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to, like... But it was weird, because he was the only one other than, you know, Bella in the beginning that could see me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't like that. That's kind of creepy.
It was really strange, but the weird thing about them saying that was, like, that in his family, like, that's what usually kills them is heart attacks.
Same with my dad's family.
I didn't know that.
Line, yeah.
Yeah, but they all have heart problems and stuff.
Well, hopefully they can work towards being super healthy so that never happens to them.
Yeah.
My dad did. He had he had a midlife crisis and, like, literally became super straight edge and, like, just started working out and went crazy because he thought he was going to fucking die.
Yeah.
So, because he got close to the age where all of his parents and everything passed around 50 from a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
That's creepy, though. I don't like the fact that the guy, like, looked you in the eyes and was like, weird vibes.
It was strange, and he looked completely different from everybody else, too.
I wonder if he was, like, a great-great-uncle of yours or something.
Yeah, maybe, like,
that you never met.
Something like that, like some sort of spirit guide or some shit.
Yeah.
Like really interesting, though.
He didn't expect you to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe...
So...
weird.
Yeah. So, now, guess I'll talk about the one after...
Yeah, what's the one after?
After Danica. Okay. So, by now, if you watch the podcast, you know my sister died of a drug overdose, you know, a year ago.
Sad.
Very, very, very sad. Only 21 years old. Bummer. But, you know, her and I, we had, when she was alive, like, we had these connected dreams, and that I talked about this in the Friday the 13th episode. Mm-hmm. So, if you missed that, you can go back to that. So after she died, it was really, you know, it was really fucked up for me. I was using like a bunch of weed and like a bunch of like sleeping pills and things like that to get through it because like I just couldn't function normally, like with, you know, even with all that I believe, it's like
obviously, yeah, no matter what, yeah.
You can't just get over that. So, it was one day I was sitting at my mother-in-law's place, and I was just sitting there. I was talking to her about it. I was like, you know, like I'm just really fucking sad and everything. And like this voice like came into my head, and it was like, stop taking the weed. I can't get to you that way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and I told Joel's mom, I was like, I think she wants me to, you know, keep my head clear and just stop doing what I'm doing so that she can get to me, right? And I was like, I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm not gonna use anything to get to sleep, nothing like that. And so get home, you know, I struggled to go to sleep, obviously, and like I woke up in the night and whatever. And then when I had woken up at like a certain time, and I fell back to sleep after a little bit, and I woke up in the bed, and I look over, and there's my sister looking right at me. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, holy shit, you're here.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah.
Aww.
And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, wait. I was like, do you know that you're dead? And she goes like this. She's like, stop.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I was like, whatever. Just take me wherever you want to go, whatever you want to show me. Like, I'm down to just do anything. So we go down the stairs together, and then we go out on this front porch where like people are talking to her or talking about her,
like a patio.
Like a patio, and about how they didn't know how much they cared about her and how much they really miss her and everything. And she looks at me, and it's like this, not talking out loud, but it's like this telepathic, like, I've been doing this all,
like she's like, these are all the prayers I've been listening to.
This is what I've been doing. So I was like, okay, like that's awesome. Like, what do you want to do now? And like it was like this really, it was dark, and it looked like it had just rained on the road and everything, and there were like only a few like street lights and everything. And I go, what do you want to do? And she just like grabbed my hand and like took me, and we ran like barefoot up the street, and I could feel like I could feel like the wind like going through my hair and stuff, and like the wet on my feet and everything. And, like, it just felt like we were just, like, so free together. And, like, it was so, like, it was so beautiful and it was so incredible to experience that with her. And that's not the only time that she's come. The other really strange thing that happened too, and I know I mentioned this to you. I'm not sure if you remember, but the thing with the ashes after the funeral, right?
Yeah, so, I feel like I vaguely remember.
Okay, but anyways, so I did not want to see Danica's body.
Oh, I do remember now. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I didn't want to see her body at all. I was like really like, oh my God, like I don't want to remember her this way. Like I really am struggling with that. But in the moment where the rest of my family was going to view her body, I was like, you know, I felt like, I was like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just go do it. And like, it was such a fucked up experience because I walk into the room, the rest of my family just instantly starts bawling. And inside, I'm like laughing my fucking ass off because I'm like, she's not even in. I'm like looking, I'm like hearing in my head. I was like, she's not even in there. You know, I was like, it's not. Yeah. She's not there. Like that's so funny. And I know my parents.
Her empty shell.
Yeah, like my parents would probably kill me if they were like, you know, knowing that I was like thinking like that. But I didn't shed one tear for that. But
that's because you had the experience to see her already.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, I went the day of the funeral, like I went to see her body lots. I went with my friends and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, just really cherished the moment with her. But, it was, we didn't know when they were going to cremate her. And so it was like one random day I'd woken up and I had gone back to sleep and had like a short nap, like a 30-minute or whatever. And I had an OBE again. I was in this dark fucking cement looking place and I was with my sister, but I was looking at her body, like I could see her bare feet and everything. And I look at her, I'm like, why are we here? And she goes, one last look.
Oh my gosh.
Then I fucking wake up and my mom texts me, Danica has just been cremated.
So she like brought you to show her right before she got cremated.
Yeah. And I have it written down. I have it written down in my dream journal and the date and everything. And on the fucking box of her ashes says the same date.
Yeah, exact time, basically. Yeah.
So that line really just...
Yeah, that's creepy. So cool, though.
Yeah.
She just wanted to be like, let's look one more time together. And definitely knowing her and her personality, she totally would do that.
Yeah.
She's like,
bitch, you didn't want to see my body?
Now you have to.
Now you have to again.
Here's your last look.
Yeah.
She would.
It was just so crazy. Like, I can't, you know. So, like, the rest of my family, like, obviously really struggles with it. And sometimes I do, too. But I feel like it's not as much because she's constantly fucking around with me.
Oh, yeah.
And she's there. And I know she's probably mad at me for some stuff.
And almost every time you have an out-of-body experience, she shows up.
Yes. And, you know, she shows me things. And
because you've had a few times where you've, like, woken up and gone through your main door, and then she shows up and guides you throughout the rest of the out-of-body experience.
Yeah. So I'll talk about this one particular time with her. So it was, I had gotten up, of course, and I had gone like down my hallway, and I was just like kind of walking around. I thought I was like just kind of in a daze, like sleeping still, and I go into like the room where the litter box is, and like it's like a big swirl happening, and like I start hearing like
dimension swirl.
Yeah, and and it's crazy because I was literally hearing the song Fourth Dimension by Kid Cudi and Kanye West. So it was like really strange.
I wonder if she like purposely made you hear that.
Yeah, and then because it was just swirling, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm not ready for this. and I go to the front door. And I start looking at the front door, and I'm like, oh, it looks weird. And then I put my hand up to the door, and I just press on it lightly, and it like becomes like milk, like it's going all around my hand and everything, like
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like. Like I was pressing my hand into a fucking cereal bowl or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I can totally. And I looked through the peephole, and then all of a sudden, like the sirens started going off and stuff, and the alarm, and then the lights all turned off. And there was this huge spotlight, and I started to get a scared feeling, but then it was like this calm, and so I was like, okay, you know what, I know what I need to do. I always have to run through the door because I'm gonna go somewhere else completely. And so I run through the door, and it's like black, like it's just like blackness, and like all this stuff is like coming at me, and I felt scared at first, but then I like called for my sister, and then this immediately, like this calm came over, and I go, where are we going? And she goes, we're gonna see God. And I was like,
this is the craziest
what?
one.
And instantly, I'm like out in space, and like the earth is like fucking way, like it's right in front of me, like from a space point of view, I can see all the stars and everything. And then I like put my hands up, and two hands of a female grabbed my hands back. It was like an older female I've never seen before, and I just felt like this intense, like loving, warm feeling, like I knew that this was like something huge, and that my sister brought me to this,
like the universe's divine love energy.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting, I was talking to my friend who is training to become a shaman to do guided, like I think ayahuasca or something trips, and he said that what you experienced is one of the most, like not with your sister, obviously that's a bit different, but when people have those trips, they will view God, and it's described exactly like
that
you
is
said.
So wild.
Yeah, he said you'd be surprised how many people have that experience and see a feminine, loving being and zoom out from Earth just like what you have.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
That's
he's
so
like, he's heard countless. Except here's the thing. You don't need hallucinogenics to experience this.
No.
I mean, you had help with your sister, but I'm sure with enough practice, you can do it without that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really interesting because there's a lot of theories about, and I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything, but there is a lot of theories about the universe being a divine, feminine, loving energy, and how everything is actually feminine energy, and male energy actually came from the feminine energy. And originally it was, and then that goes to like, you know, us being a baby in the womb, we start out as a female, and then it decides if it wants to be a boy. Anyways, just saying. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but you know, women are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's the coolest one. That blew my mind.
Should I talk about the ones that weren't Danica?
Yeah.
Okay. So there has also been a couple other times where I haven't been as, you know, careful, where I haven't recognized the energy right away, and I've been scared at first, and I usually like call for my sister, but it's not like it's the
I think we mentioned this one in the last one, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
You wanted me to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You wanted me to talk about it, but I didn't.
Okay.
I wanted to save it. So yeah. So I get up, and I have these red like strip lights over there, and
the cool LED lights that everybody has.
Yeah, really cool ones. But anyways, like I get up, and I have like this weird feeling, and so I walk out into the hallway, and I can see the red strip lights are on, and it's all black, and I'm kind of freaked out because I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why is it on? Did I leave it on? But then I shortly realized what was happening. I was like, oh, it's an out-of-body experience, another one, yay. And then so I was like, okay, Danica, like just not even really like concentrating as much, right? Like, because when I actually like call for her and I'm focused, like it's almost like I'm dialing a phone number that's very specific. Like I can feel like it's like I can feel her exact energy, so I know exactly what to call out for. This time I was not so careful. I was just like, yeah, Danica, whatever. And I kept saying it, and then I started to get a fear because I kept saying it and she didn't appear. So I was like, okay, this is weird. And then all of a sudden, right in front of me, just this tall, not tall, but like black figure with a bun, and looked like it was like wearing a blanket around it, but I couldn't see the face. It was just all black. like a silhouette with the red light behind it, almost like a very scene from Insidious, like no joke.
Picture, grab the
picture.
picture.
Yeah, I will grab the picture. Okay.
I'm just going to continue to explain it, but her sister would always wear a bun and or a hoodie or a blanket. She's a very comfortable dressing person, and it is known that in astral projection and out of body experiences, if you're not careful, other energies will pick up off of you being out of your body, and they will want to take advantage of you if they're negative beings, and sometimes they will pretend to be who you're trying to find.
Yeah.
So
this is exactly what it looks like
Super
in my
creepy.
living room.
Fucking creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so I painted that because I couldn't get it out of my head, so I had to paint it.
This gives me nightmares, honestly.
Yeah.
This should be the cover photo.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god,
pretty.
bad vibes.
Yeah. But
cool as fuck.
yeah, very cool. But this thing, when it appeared there, I instantly knew. I was like, okay,
This is not her.
this is.
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, that's not you. And then I went right back to my body because I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not hanging out with you.
No, yeah, no thank you.
No way. And then there was another time that I had one,
Okay.
and it was I can always tell because I notice now that it's always a dark scene.
Mm-hmm. It's
in-
always like a
in this,
weird
it's
vibe.
always a weird vibe. It's
Yeah.
not bright. It's not anything. And I knew because there was a scene where people were trying to break into my house and there was bullets being fired, and then I'm my whole
a dream?
family is
Okay.
my whole family is crawling around, and I'm crawling around on the floor hoping not to get shot and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I crawl into this one room, and there's a balcony with a door and windows and stuff, and I can see my sister, and I'm gonna, and she's like, let me in.
No.
And
I didn't hear
I'm
this
like,
one.
I know. I'm like, oh, wait, I can't. I don't think I can. I was like, if I stand up, I might get shot or whatever. She's just let me in. It's okay. And I go to reach for the door, and then there's something behind her, and pulls out a gun and is pointing it at me. And then all of a sudden, my sister started to not look like my sister, and the eyes were going black, and the tongue was out, and it was dripping all black down her. And I got so fucking scared, and they were pointing at. They were let us in, open the door. And I was absolutely no way. I tried my best to get out. I got out of the room. I would not open the door because it
gives me shivers.
Yeah, because it's almost giving it permission to come.
Yeah,
into your,
exactly.
Open the door.
And you know what is interesting, because when you first start getting out of body experiences and stuff like that, it's almost like a beacon where it's hey, I'm in this realm now, and all these beings are time to take advantage of this new person in this other dimension.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, that's what they would do. They try to trick you, and evil beings oh my god, imagine if you let it in and.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was just so fucked. I couldn't believe
I
it.
bet you if you Google out of body experience demon asking to let me in, that there'd be tons of people having the same experience.
Oh, probably. I wouldn't even doubt it. It was so scary. I woke up with the worst feeling. I was like, holy shit. But then after that, after I have one of those experiences, I always do the white light thing. I'm like, there's no room for negativity in here. There's no room for negativity around me or my soul or anything.
Exactly.
Because it's just not allowed.
I'm
not allowing it, and I ask for protection and everything.
And that's good. You didn't let her in.
Yeah.
Or
So now I'm always I'm super sensitive to the energy.
You'll know. Yeah, you'll know if it's. I just wonder if it's the same one trying more than once.
I know, me too.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is effing weird. We should ask the tarot cards.
Yeah, we should.
Could ask the tarot cards and just be like, what does this thing want? What is its goal?
Yeah.
And maybe another one you could ask, what do I do to make it not bug me anymore?
Yeah.
Which is probably just a bunch of meditation saying, don't be near me, but that's fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, it fucks me up.
That was when back to the alien podcast, when I was really, really into aliens, And I was like, I was actually like psycho when I was like 16 to 18. I was like every day looking up UFO and looking up the latest video. I was fucked. Yeah. Anyways, after researching latest UFO sightings every day for like a year, I'm pretty sure they know I'm looking them up.
Yeah.
So I would have a lot of dreams. I don't know if I told you, but I'd have a lot of dreams of like seeing a UFO go over my house and being like, oh my God, I can see it. Mm-hmm. And there'd be dreams where I'd be in my house and the Greys would be outside my like garage area, and I like wouldn't let them in the door, and they kept trying to come in, and I'd be like, no, you can't come in, like similar.
Yeah.
And I would have like dreams where I was in my room and they'd be like out the window and I'd be looking and trying to hide from them, and they'd be trying to get to me, but like the evil ones never got to me because I protected myself, and I was like, no, but it was still really scary.
Yeah.
And they would try to come to me so many times. And then when I was telling my friend recently, my new friend, about all of the alien stuff, he that night had a dream of these and this goes to beings pretending to be something else.
Yeah.
He said he saw 2 figures in the hallway, and then they turned into old people, like grandparents, but it was like a really bad vibe, and they were like looking at him over the edge of the hallway.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And this is after that night I actually had to sage him because he was like, it was scary. It was like they were trying to get me, and I knew right away it was the evil aliens, like, because aliens and demons are actually very similar. Not all aliens, sorry. Mm-hmm. Aliens and angels as well. But there's malevolent and benevolent, and a lot of the time, malevolent aliens can get mixed into demons. They're kind of like a similar thing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that stuff is creepy. But you know what? In the end, you have power over all of it. I had like I said in my last podcast, I talked about the sleep paralysis. And did I? Yeah.
Yeah.
And how I kicked the evil ghost's ass.
Yeah.
Basically. If you have no fear and just love, they can't do shit to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Cannot do shit. So, unless it's like a really extremely crazy evil poltergeist that somebody else gave them power from their energy to. But like that's,
Yeah, the only
some insidious shit right there.
Yeah, some insidious shit. Like, oh, speaking of insidious, I wanted to mention that in Insidious, they like can get stuck on that side. In real life, you cannot get stuck. You have a cord, astral cord that attaches your like astral body to your regular body.
And it cannot be ripped. It cannot be cut.
No, the only way that it's getting cut is if you die.
Yes.
That's the only way.
But it is important to pray and ask for protection for your body when you leave your body sometimes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But I've had an experience where I've been actually ripped back by the cord, and I felt it like in my back. Yeah, so it was in a sleep paralysis. It started out as, and I couldn't move, and I could see like right through my closed eyelids.
Yeah.
But I felt like I couldn't open them and stuff, and couldn't move and couldn't scream and whatnot, and I felt like somebody was trying to break in, like through the over here again.
Right where the thing is.
Right where the thing
Let me in.
Yeah,
let me in.
Yeah, you know what? It's weird.
That's probably the same
Oh
one.
my god, I never even put 2 and 2 together. Everybody, they're trying to get in.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to stop them from getting in. So
I
muster up like all my power to like fucking get out of bed, and I feel like it's my real body getting out of bed, but it's not. It's like my astral body coming marching through the hall as strong as I can, and I get to the door and I'm just about to lock it, and I feel myself get just like straight up pulled back by the cord, like my feet are off the ground.
Do you think it was your sister pulling you back?
No, she was alive at this point.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like my cord, because it pulled me back and like smacked me right back into my body, and I woke up.
You know what? This is interesting. When I was 18, I messaged that guy that was on the news for that UFO sighting.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
That moved into the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
So I was looking up, remember, as we know, I was looking up new UFO sightings every day on YouTube, and there happened to be a sighting in Vancouver, which is sort of ish where we live, kind of. But anyways, BC, that's like the main city, Vancouver. So this guy claimed he had a voice in his head that told him to go to like one of the main parks, I think Stanley Park or something, and film the sky. But he actually previously had experience with extraterrestrials, so he said he was already in contact with one. So he went out to the park and filmed it, and it got on the news.
Yeah.
And it was like this weird, like white shifting fucking bubble thing in the sky. It was really weird. Anyways, he was having lucid dreams, and at the beginning of his lucid dreams, he didn't know he had a spirit guide or almost like alien guide, and he had this girl that was always in his dreams. And he always just thought of it as, like, a spirit guide or just somebody that was there. And one day they were having coffee, and he was like, haha, this is my dream. I control it. Like, nobody's controlling it but me. And she looked at him, and she was like, oh, really? Are you controlling this? And she turned paper thin under the table and was like, did you do that? And, like, looked at him from under the table. And he was like, no. And then she disclosed that she was actually his, like, spirit guide, but from an extraterrestrial family that, like, and she was here to guide him. And he had experiences where the government, like, he'd be having an astral dream and be in contact with benevolent beings, and then suddenly this guy in a military suit would show up and kick him in the balls and make him wake up from the dream.
What the fuck?
And this started happening more and more, and he started having to beat these men up that appeared in his lucid dreams or astral projection. They're very similar.
Yeah.
And he looked up online, and it was actually a very common thing in lucid dreams. There's like military trying to catch people who are lucid dreaming because they don't want people to know.
Yeah.
And then that goes to like a whole conspiracy that within the government they're training people how to have astral projection and stuff to use it against
other travelers.
Yeah, and I think it's similar in the sense that it's like that being is intruding on your dream.
Yeah.
And it's like a beacon. Like, I think that maybe one day the more you have it, maybe the military will show up for you too.
That would be insane.
They don't want us to be doing that.
No.
But anyways, this guy ended up actually, his whole marriage got ruined because the lady didn't believe in the aliens, and then he ended up like kind of going a little bit, I'm not sure what crazy or whatever happened. He like moved into the middle of nowhere into a forest with like all alone with like no anything, and I was like, okay. But he said he wanted to have more contact, and that's why he moved into a farmland so he could like be taken by this chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird. We talked for hours and hours and hours and hours about aliens.
That's amazing.
Good times. I hope he's doing good.
Yeah.
It was really sad that his wife didn't understand him.
Yeah, that would really suck if you had a partner that doesn't.
But in that age range, like in your 40s to 50s, like nobody believes in this stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you're my parents, but my parents are fucked, so.
Yeah, they're
they're a little nuts.
A little
what is
cooler,
happening
though.
in that bedroom?
Maybe you don't want to know. But yeah, I think that was the same with me looking up the aliens online and then them coming into my dream and being like trying to get in my door and I wouldn't let them in and like it's just I think that the more you go to bed, I think you should like do a prayer to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And like maybe even call upon Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say this in a Christian or Catholic way. I believe Archangel Michael is literally just an alien being, a benevolent being, and in all other religions. But yeah, even like Egyptians, they had like a winged-looking being named Michael, like similar to Michael.
Yeah.
And they called him the like god of protection. So.
Yeah. And it's like it's weird because there are like a bunch of different places and they all have like
different religions and they all talk about
cultures.
So all the archangels, they all talk about them in different ways and have different names for them, but they all are like there's one of protection and one of
and like but there's something specific. I can't remember. I watched it on Ancient Aliens. There's one specific thing to do with Archangel Michael, and it's like all in a line, like these places
have all the same description.
But it's really interesting. I went to Rome and I went to the castle, like Castel, and they have this big I took a picture of this big statue for you because it was Archangel Michael, because that's where supposedly Archangel Michael appeared to the Pope for the end of the plague, right? So that was really cool. Anyway.
Yeah, I just believe that they're like benevolent beings here to help us, and he's like specifically to help. I would call upon him before bed.
Yeah.
Especially with the let me in thing, because I don't like that.
No.
You should actually do a specific prayer and in your mind imagine all those things and show him and be like, I don't want this thing near me anymore.
Yeah, good idea.
Tell him to cut the cord.
Yeah.
That's what like psychics tell me, that they call upon him and they make him cut the cord with his sword.
Oh, really?
It's like any connection you have to that thing, you can tell him to cut the cord.
Oh, that's interesting.
With his spirit sword.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Spirit sword.
Yeah, and that's like a big common thing. Like even in guided meditations, they call upon him and get him to like cut the negative energy or make it so you're not connected to the negative energy anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had any other... if anybody really wants to get an out-of-body experiences, definitely there's this book, and then there's an... Oh, this is the same one.
This is by the same person, but it's like it's
number
like
2?
Another, it's like the second one.
Oh.
Like, this one's like more like hacking the out-of-body experience. It has less of like the explanation, but it's by the same person, Robert Peterson.
Yeah.
And it's like to leveraging science to induce OBEs. It's really fucking cool.
Nice. I'm going to borrow this next time.
Yes.
The first one is good to get, though, because it's from his point of view and how he grew up as a skeptic.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting to read.
And he was religious, too.
Yeah.
He was religious, he was skeptical, and then he became skeptical of religion, and then he...
sounds like me.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound.
Interesting. But an easy way to get into it, too, you can do this, but lucid dreams are really cool, too, because it's kind of a hack.
Yeah.
To, like...
Does it
talk about that in here? Maybe, like, lucid dreaming, too?
Yeah, a little bit. But another really interesting thing was I found that there's a sort of like a supplement called She Legit. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's like this black stuff from like the Himalayas or something, and they put it in this little. You can get the resin of it. I just got like the pill, like the little capsule form of it, and like it's a super strong like antioxidant, and like I would take it like before having a nap, and instantly I'd be in like a crazy ass lucid dream. I need to get some more, but I want to try the resin.
That was like the mugwort, though.
Yeah.
Except it induces females' period, so...
Yeah, this does not.
Yeah, maybe I should get that one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get some more of it, and you can use the resin and put it in tea and everything.
I forgot about the B complex, too. Very important.
Yeah, the B vitamins are super important.
And magnesium. I keep being told magnesium's good. It's just so hard to remember to take supplements.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, what else do I have for that? Yeah, one of the lucid dreams I had too, it was back when I had my BlackBerry mobile, and I like counted the numbers on my phone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and would look away for 5 seconds and look back and count them again.
Oh.
And if they were in the same order, you're not dreaming. But if they aren't in the same order, when you look back again, you're dreaming. And one time I looked, and all the numbers were moving, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, I'm dreaming. Okay. And then I was in the mountain on like a bark mulch, like kind of hill with like the cops there.
Yeah.
And like my old friend Nikki was there, and don't really remember that much more. And the other lucid dream I had, I was on a bus, and I like flew out through the roof of the bus to go to space, but then I don't really remember what happened after that. I think I woke up. But there's lots of ways to get connected to these kind of things. And I do think like one of the most misconceptions, is that you can't experience this stuff sober. Yeah. But you can.
Yeah. It is.
Like, sure, the supplement helps and stuff, but there's tons of times you've had that experience without the supplement.
Yeah.
So, because I do have a few friends that are really into, like I said, the psychedelics, and they seem to believe that, like, the only way
trust me,
is to do DMT.
I've heard about it from Kyle, and I'm just over it. I don't even get mad anymore. Yeah. Because I'm like, man, I've experienced it. You know. Yeah,
and when you experience it on psychedelics, yes, it can still be a life-changing experience. I'm not doubting the shamanistic ones. But it's not the same as if you're sober.
No.
I'm just trying to say it's
Because
not the same.
Because then it's like attributed to you. It's not attributed to a substance that you're like, oh,
yeah.
well, that was just a trip, you know,
yeah.
whatever. I can trip on my own.
Yeah, but there is a lot of spiritual, like deep, a native connection to ayahuasca and peyote and that stuff. But it's just, yeah, it is different. And I do think there's, like I said, huge misconception that...
The light is flickered.
You know what that means?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I had one more thing that I wanted to share.
Yes.
So there was one time our power in our apartment had been scheduled to go out for the entire day, and me and Joel and I we didn't have anything to do that day, so we were just like, you know, chilling around the house. Like I was just listening to music and stuff. And we decided to go and have a nap. Right, and I had a nap, and I had this OBE where I was standing at my window, and I was looking out, and I could see like all these waves and stuff, and like it's like a red sky and everything, and I was like, oh, I'm in an OBE. I was like, where do I want to go? And I closed my eyes. I was like, I want to go to Italy. I want to go with my sister. And so I close my eyes and I open them, and I'm in a car, like, and I'm like in this beautiful, like, sunny place.
Nice.
It kind of looked like Italy, like when we went.
Yeah.
And then we pull up to this like red and black house.
Okay.
And I go inside, and like there's like a big kitchen. My dad's there for some reason, and he's putting stuff away. And he's like, oh, and Joel was with me too. And he's like, do you guys want a drink? I'm like, no, I'm okay. But Joel wanted the drink, so he stayed downstairs. Right? And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go put my stuff upstairs. And I go up, and like, I go and find my room. And it's like this, like almost like a little girl's room and everything. And there's like a note on the wall written in pink. And it's like, I'm sorry I couldn't give you this when you were little and stuff like that. It was like really strange. And then I went into, and then it was like kind of a maze, and I was going through, and it was like really just run down, like raggedy, like everywhere, dirty. And I started to get really freaked out, so I went back down the stairs. I was like, I'm done with that space. I get back down the stairs, and I come down, and I see my husband is like he's like drinking alcohol, and of course, who's right behind him? Danica. And she looks at me, and she's smiling as she's standing there watching him drink. And she like plays with her like front tooth that was like a pull out sort of thing, right? Because she had a false one. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, don't you get to be like the perfect version of yourself once you die? And she looks at me and she started laughing. She goes, no. And I was like, oh my God, like that's so strange. And then we like, she showed me the outside, and she's like, do you want to go swimming in the pool? And like we jumped in the pool together. We had this fun time. And then so I wake up, and I call my mom, and I tell her, I was like, oh, Danica came to visit me and stuff. It was a really fun time and everything. And she goes, you know what's funny? She goes, I told Bella, which is my 5-year-old niece, she's like, I told Bella to FaceTime you because you were going to be alone today. And Bella looked at my mom, and she goes, what are you talking about, Nana? Brittany's not alone today. Danica's there today.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
And this niece of hers has had some interesting experiences where she's also mentioned playing with Danica when like Danica's passed.
Yeah. And
so it's not the first time.
She talks to me about out of body experiences, and she's like, I go, because I tried to go, oh, you know, I have dreams about Danica too. And she goes, they're not dreams, Brittany. And I was like, what do you know, okay, fair enough. I was like, what do you and Danica talk about? And she goes, no. She's like, it's not like talking out loud.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Anyways, we're so out of time. I wish we will continue this on another episode. But thank you so much for listening, you guys.
Thank you.
It was an awesome episode. This is like an extra long one today, so you have an extra treat.
And don't forget to check out this book. Check out the first one, which is just called How to Have an Out-of-Body Experience, and then check this one as well. I'm sure it comes in audiobook as well. So
yeah, everything. Anyways, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, follow us on the Instagram and everything.
And Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you're listening or watching. Just give it a like or leave us a review, please, because we actually need them.
Yes.
Thanks.